Now recording. It's been a while.
Okay, I should have seen that one coming.
Wow. It's so good to be back. I've never felt this good to be here with my two best friends.
What do you mean?
Craig
back?
And
it's only been a week.
Yeah, I didn't know whether we should just play cool and be like, yeah, okay, next episode.
I think we're jumping right back in. You know, there's been there's a legion of devoted fans. Let's see. We can probably estimate. Let's see.
Like
so. That seems a little high. How do I find
I just search Gooncast Bosco and then I always find it.
Yeah, you have to put Bosco in?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Honestly.
Oh my god, it works. It works.
Told you.
Okay, so when we released Close Encounters of the Third King 8 years ago, there's 38 views. So you could probably say like 3 of those people are fans, maybe, you know.
Oh, and there's 3 of us. What a coincidence.
Yeah. But now, finally, after all these years, we have a new fan. His name is Craig. And Craig.
Which list are we using again?
All right. So here's what's going on. So we've had very little discussion on how to go about this, but about a year ago, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get started on the true list. Watched everything got removed from the old list, the 1997 list. And in order to do that, I put my faith in God. You know, I rolled the dice, and the first movie that came up was Bringing Up Baby. Now, mind you, it's been I think basically a year. So I watched that for the first time on February 27th, 2024. So obviously this is a very high budget production, so it took a lot of time to get funding and advertisers together, and that's why we're just recording now. What we will do after this, all bets are off. I don't know. We could just watch the ones that I'm watching currently.
we should have kept the list of actual what we already watched. Guess who's
well,
coming
we can
to dinner
sort the list out later.
Time for our first segment. How do you think Morrissey would have felt the first time he watched Bringing Up Baby?
So this is a problem. You're kind of creeping into my territory. Can you do the scripted thing I told you to say that's going to come off natural and authentic?
Sorry. Before. Hey, Bosco, what were the new rules this season?
Oh, the A Frank score, and it's the A Frank score. So there's 4 categories for the A Frank score: is could she watch this, would she watch this, and did she like this? And then
that's 3.
Did she watch? And then did she watch this? That's the 4th one. But unfortunately, we don't know very well if Anne Frank can actually see a movie or what movie she actually saw. But we predict if there's any records of it, we might know. But so far, no records exist. So this is the Anne Frank score or the A Frank score. Again, could she watch this? Would she watch this? And did she like this? So how can we do could she watch this? Well, could she watch this? Whether or not the movie was produced before she was born or after she died. So it has to be within that little area of what we called her life.
It would need a wide release in Europe as well. Sure.
Oh, there you go. There's some more. Yeah. And then would she watch this? Now, we don't know what she really likes, but I'm guessing this movie in particular, she probably would watch this.
She wrote that whole diary. She didn't talk about what she liked once.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And then now, would she have liked this? Another question. So we got to find her interest. There we go.
So, Anne Frank was alive when this movie was released. I do not see an explicit mention of a European release, but during its first run, it lists the amount of money it made, including foreign markets.
I mean, I looked up some old British magazines, and they were talking about it, but yeah, I don't know whether she would have seen it.
Was Anne Frank? She was in Germany, and then she was in the Netherlands. Yeah. She was in the Netherlands. But only after
she lived all the way up into the invention of the ballpoint pen.
and then so what year had the war started when this movie came out? Let's see, because 39, it's a bit of a coin flip here.
Right, so I think.
Oh no, it's 38. It's 38. We're good. If you're not Chinese, you were blissfully at peace when this film was released. It's Bosco. Can you talk about?
Are you going to keep track of the Anne Frank score?
Yeah. Can you figure out if she was Chinese to start?
Wait, I'm supposed to actually keep track of this? Oh yeah, for sure. Anne Frank.
We call it Anne Frank.
Let me get a spreadsheet real quick. So we can rank each movie. All right.
This is good. I'm so proud of you for this great idea that I'm still very unclear on how it would be adjudicated.
I think we need to rebuild Anne Frank in like character.ai. We feed
Well, like how
the
they-
diary into a Gen AI and we rebuild.
Yeah,
the
and they're
character.
like, and they're gonna say
Well,
this
maybe
is
Craig
clearly
can
written
help
by
with
more
that.
than one person, and they're like, no, you can't say that.
Maybe
that's a good
Craig
idea.
can help with that.
What's this movie called again?
Bringing
Guess
Oh,
who's coming to
baby
Bringing
But who was the baby?
baby. It was the leopard.
is a leopard.
How'd you not
No,
know
the
that?
real baby was Katharine Hepburn,
Yeah, you could argue that.
and she was brought up.
Katharine Hepburn gives one of the most infantile performances ever presented by a highly respected actress, and it's very funny. It is very funny. I mean,
It's
she's
still
a
funny.
completely ridiculous person, but it's hilarious.
Okay.
I
so
mean,
what are we
when I
saying?
start-
could she have watched this? Yes. Would she have watched this? Good question.
I'm gonna leave that up to you to adjudicate.
So-
I mean, she's a teenage girl. It's a rom-com essentially.
So in her room, she pasted newspaper clippings about movies on her wallpaper. So let's look up that in explanation. Anne Frank Cinema, New York, and clippings featured artists. Goddamn fucking paywall. Fucking jeez. Okay.
IMDb. I'm trying to get back to last year of February on this guy's list, and
Yeah.
it's because it's all in one page. It's starting to max out the RAM that Chrome can.
That's hilarious. What date were you trying to get to?
I'm at July. Hey, I'm on my birthday, July
Hey,
12th, 2024. I need to get back to
kind-
February 27th,
What
2024.
kind of movies
I'm like
did
halfway there.
Anne Frank like?
okay. I'll race you there whilst Bosco is doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah, I refuse to close any of my other windows.
She was interested in
That's fine.
teenage girl movies like Cinderella and Ninkonchka.
What is that?
So
Is this
I don't
true,
know.
or is this like a Google AI
this is
answer?
what AI is saying.
Yes.
Okay, Ninkonchka. I know this one. That's the
Oh
That's
no.
this Ninong Tong Ting Tong. It's a romantic comedy, but
Yeah,
with,
Noam
Greta
Chomsky.
Garbo.
He wrote the book about the CIA.
Manufacturing consent.
It's a Greta Garbo movie where she's a Soviet woman in Paris. I forgot about that one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'd say yes. She would have watched this one. This is kind of a
So
rom com too.
that's a 2 out of 2 so far.
Would
Then?
she like this one? Now that's an opinion. We don't know exactly, but I would say knowing Anne Frank as thoroughly as I do, yes, she would like this. Did
What
she
was her
watch this?
background? Was
We
she?
don't know.
Did she come from money?
Yeah, she's a Jew. You know
Because
that.
part of the appeal of this is like.
Thanks, boss.
No,
Yeah.
well, no, because remember,
I
the
didn't.
reason why
I didn't
she-
realize that was part of Anne Frank's deal before. I didn't. Is that why?
So if I remember correctly, her dad owned a factory or some shit, and they were
Oh, that
living
sounds familiar.
and they were living inside like the attic of one of the properties he owned, and
Uh-huh.
one of the workers were keeping them. I don't know, some bribery or something, breaking them off.
Okay. So so it's like there's a class comedy element to this, right? Because
Wait, Anne Frank?
no, Hepburn's character is high society, and your man is he's a part of the academic class, and it's like funny to see how they interact. So I think Anne Frank would have liked that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting how I'll just get into the movie. I guess let's just start talking about the movie. I think
Is that we haven't been doing that yet? Oh
no,
my
we've just
God.
been talking around the movie. I feel like we're talking about Anne Frank for Christ's sake. Come on, man.
Talk about whatever we want. It's a free
Okay.
country. Craig told me.
Craig.
All right, so basically, he's a bone doctor who can't figure out how to bone because his wife doesn't want to fuck. And then what
She's
happens?
not married
is-
yet. He's not married yet.
All right, his fiance, and fiance only wants him to focus on his work, and he's a bit of a putz. And then one day he runs into a woman who's incredibly aggravating and really fucks with him. First with a golf ball, then a car, then his outfit, and then a leper gets involved. And there's a lot of slapstick and hijinks involving stolen jewels, a loose, damaged leopard, a Irish alcoholic gameskeeper, a big game hunter from Switzerland or some shit. And at one point, Cary Grant goes gay. It's very
that was a good
funny.
question. Here's a point I have to make. When
Yeah.
he said gay, did he mean homosexual?
Yeah.
He was wearing women's
That's what it
clothing.
seems.
So is that the first time gay meant gay
I don't know if it's
in
the
cinema
first time
history?
ever.
Because
It's-
that's the
it
30s. That's
is
before
very
the code.
early to, yeah, it is very
That's before
early.
the code.
I
What they
think
call
there's
it.
a movie that predates it. Oh no, this
Ooh.
movie is during code.
No, it's pre-code, isn't it?
No, I think it's during code, and I think
Code starts earlier in the 30s, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think
Code of-
it's so like part of the appeal of these movies where they were the screwball comedies. The whole like banter back and forth was like a kind of flirtatious like titillation, which you could do under the code.
His
As
code was
opposed to,
adopted in
like-
1930, and it wasn't really rigorously enforced in 1934. So maybe.
Yeah, this is 38.
Under-
This is 38.
There's
This is
no
subtly
ambiguity
undercoded.
there.
I mean, it didn't do very well in theaters, you know.
It didn't do very well in theaters.
But isn't it kind of weird that the like back and forth, the banter, is the substitution for sex appeal?
Yeah, I mean, this
Dude,
guy, the
dude,
porno
listen,
reviewer, probably
listen,
wouldn't like
dude.
it very much, but I find it more entertaining.
Listen, dude. The thing is, I kind of think it kind of broke the code rules, anyways, because you have gays, and there's a lot of private grinding going on in that one scene where they're grinding their privates against each other and slapping ass. I don't know. That sounds fucking cool.
I must have fell asleep during that bit.
According to Wikipedia, the line was an ad lib by Grant who was not in the script.
Whoa, he can't say that.
And then, so apparently,
That was his coming out moment.
there's coming along. The term gay was not familiar to the general public until the Stonewall riots in 1969. Is that true? That's crazy.
Wow.
1969, before gay was commonly associated with
as a slang.
homosexual.
So Cary
Yeah.
Grant is
Yeah.
like what they call like a oh my god, he's like a revolutionary. He's a guy
Pioneer?
ahead of his time. He's a pioneer. That's the word. Thank you. He's calling it like it is. Gay is gay. Well,
Right, but there was a film that predated this that said gay.
Yeah, which one?
Yeah,
It
was
says
that?
the
Wikipedia says-
1933 film My Weakness had previously used the. I love just getting on Discord and reading Wikipedia verbatim. Had previously used the word gay as an overt descriptor of homosexuality. One of two men pining away for the same woman suddenly suggests a solution to their mutual problem. Quote, "Let's be gay!" Unquote. However, the Studio
Wow.
Relations Committee censors decreed that the line was too risque and had to be muffled. The film This Side of Heaven, 1934, includes a scene in which a fussy, gossipy interior decorator, wow,
Hey, can we watch this
things
movie
just
next?
really don't change, tries to sell a floral fabric pattern to a customer who knowingly replies, quote, "It strikes me as a bit too gay." So there's two known uses.
So at one point in time, there was a fight against gays and not gays. You know what I'm saying? When something was gay, and eventually
They tried
gays
to take
won.
back the word.
Yeah,
They
eventually
were claiming-
gays. They kept trying to take it back
I'm gay
for,
and I'm
to be
proud of
not
it.
gays, but the gays took it and eventually won. So like the stone, like that's very interesting. There's a fight about gays going on. Interesting. It's like women's sports, even if you think about it.
But I mean, the meaning is clear, I guess. Like they felt comfortable to just run with the line, and it would make sense to audiences.
Well, very clearly it was colloquial at the time. People weren't getting confused by the meaning of what gay could mean.
Yeah,
So
like
gay-
if it was interpreted as I'm happy, like it wouldn't be a funny line. So homosexuality has been funny forever.
if anything, that means there were gays before gays were gays. Which actually makes what
You
happened
think
to
Cary
Alan
Grant
Turing
started it,
very upsetting.
and then gay people were like, "Say, that could be a word to describe us, Harry."
I mean, I'm not saying that at all, actually. But yeah, okay. I was jokingly saying that like a few lines prior, but I'm seriously thinking there was a nice they call it a paradigm shift of sorts, a scale, spectrum, if you would, when gay meant gay, but gay was not gay, you know, gay.
You want to find the tipping point?
So when did the word gay go fully gay? You know,
Maybe we'll find that out over the course of this podcast series.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there are quite a few like funny moments, and that was definitely one of them that made me laugh out loud.
yeah, he said gay.
A lot of the pratfalls made me
No,
laugh.
it's just surprising.
Yeah, that's why I was surprised it's not pre-code because the dialogue was a little bit more like authentic. It felt like at times versus less stuffy.
Yeah, but I mean, screwball comedies were a big. That's one of the genres that kind of.
Well, this is not a screwball comedy. This is a
Deb,
manic
what is
pixie
if
dream
this isn't a
curl
screwball
movie.
comedy? What is?
Sorry, this is Zoe Deschanel, dude. This is a meet cute movie. I'm sorry.
500 spots of leopard.
Yeah, this is just 500 Days of Summer, okay? But the guy gets fucking Stockholm syndrome into loving her, which is weird. I don't get that one. What the fuck?
Yeah, I want to get to that, but we'll just roll with.
Oh,
with
like
other
is
things.
it believable that yes? Because shockingly, in the end, they Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn do end up together, but it doesn't feel particularly consequential, and it's mostly attacked.
Funny enough,
scene.
Stockholm is in Europe. Europe
Yeah.
is where the Holocaust happened and Frank
Oh,
scored.
no.
You lost me. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It felt like the romance like came together too quickly.
Well, they didn't
Yeah. Well, so Katharine Hepburn's character is obviously very enamored with him
Yeah.
from pretty soon after they meet, and he's just too almost like
But I don't-
asexual in some ways in his responses of whether he's even aware of it or not, and he just also finds her aggravating is the other part.
Yeah, but
And then near the end, he just decides, "Oh, I think I actually might more than like you. I think I love you." And then instead of a big kiss or whatever, there's just an additional stunt fall where the bones of the brontosaurus collapse as Katharine Hepburn is hanging.
yeah, which is like a what do you think of like a metaphor for a boner?
Yeah, but
for a deflating boner.
Well, like he just jizzed his pants type thing.
I think they did that on purpose. Yeah, like Mr. Bone. I think that was a innuendo. Hays Code innuendo.
And I want to like make one thing clear. Like I want to point one thing out. The only time she realizes she's in love with him was when the guy tells her that that's what love is. Some guy stalking you. So I don't know if she even loves.
Well, she
this
doesn't.
guy.
She doesn't.
She might be just too. She
might
might be just too fucking autistic to know what love is, and she's like, "Oh, it must love
she
me."
does. She talks to the psychiatrist, and she's like, "So, what do you call a disorder where a man won't leave you alone?"
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah.
It's fucking retarded.
And he said something like, "The love sense is rooted in terms of conflict for the man." So she ascribes that to him. She thinks that he's into her, which I guess is a kind of projection of her feelings or displacement. So I don't get it. I don't get it why she falls for him. I don't get why he falls for her.
She falls for him because she's a real loon, not to confuse the call with the leopard. And then it is interesting because most of the appeal in the movie is based in the dialogue between the two characters, but you're never particularly invested in them getting together. Katharine Hepburn's character is very annoying, and Cary Grant's character doesn't seem particularly appealing either, right? Like even if he's not as zany, he's like a very stodgy professor, and that's part of why it's funny. So yeah, I think that's why they wrapped up the romance so quickly at the end, because they realized that's not really the point. It's a romantic comedy because I don't know. Otherwise, people will think Carrie has gone gay. But if you actually think about it, the romance is like borderline irrelevant to most of it.
Well, I take a different approach. I think she's like a love it or hate it character. Like she is. That's like part of the appeal of her, right? Is that she's defying gender conventions and she's bossing the man around and she's athletic and rude and drives the story forward.
Drives terrible.
Yeah, drives terrible. Steals his car, bangs it up.
That was for the men though to laugh at women driving though.
Yeah, I think that might have been why it didn't do too well at the box office. Because this is coming on the heels of like many other screwball comedies where the characters are a bit more realistic, whereas Catherine's character is very cartoonish. So like they put all of their store into whether you're going to like the character of Catherine or not.
Yes. And she's also playing pretty against type as well. Even when she's in other romantic comedies, she's normally playing a more grounded character, or even to contrast it directly with the other one I've seen, which stars both Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant, which is Holiday. It's one of the 3 movies they made with George Cocker, in addition to this movie that they made with Howard Hawks. She's much, it's still a romantic comedy, so she has funny lines and whatever, but she's a much more grounded character compared to Cary Grant's character. And they really invert that dynamic for this film. What order were these made in, actually? Which of these came out first?
Same year, right?
Yeah, they came out the same year.
I'm gonna go with Bringing Up Baby came out first, from memory.
Holiday came out June 15th. Bringing Up Baby came out February 16th. There you go.
Yeah.
4 months apart, these movies came out.
Not crazy.
But they were in the first film they were in, not the Philadelphia Story, Sylvia Scarlett, which I have not seen. And according to Wikipedia, it was notorious as one of the most unsuccessful movies of the 1930s. She goes undercover as a man. That's why Cary Grant went gay. Now it all makes sense.
Oh.
So
gay. Was Cary Grant gay?
Cary Grant does a Cockney accent in this one.
That's gay.
I mean, they're all bi, right? They're all gay.
Google says he was not gay.
But what about in the movie when he jumped in the air and said, "I've gone gay"?
His daughter said he was very straight.
That rocks. Did Rock Hudson's daughter say the same thing? I don't know if Cary Grant was actually gay.
Here's a picture of him and another man being very close to each other without their shirts on. Tell me that's not pretty gay.
That's just boys being boys, dude.
What about this one?
They're at the pool. They're almost touching.
Question: This is the same picture, but does it with it being in like
The guy on the
grays
left was
instead of black and
Photoshop.
white?
Why is his
Does
face
this
look
make it
Photoshop?
look more gay that it's tilted and it's in a different color? It's the same picture, but it's like
But
does that make it more
flipped the
gay?
horizontal axis?
Does that make it more gay for you? 'Cause
I think it makes it
does.
more gay.
Yeah.
I actually
I can't
agree. I think
explain
it makes
why.
it more gay.
And
The
here
bottom
you
picture-
go.
the
And here
bottom
and here
picture
and
feels more
here's the
homosexual.
cherry on top. How about that one? Does that make it feel? Is that gonna sell it? It's literally just. Hey, wait! 1 second. You know where I've seen that before? Oh my god! Look at this. Look at that.
Okay, well, let's
Is
stop
he
referring
hinting?
to visual.
Is he hinting? Is he hinting
Media?
that he's the Katharine Hepburn to this relationship with Randolph Scott? Unrequited love, maybe? Was he a
Requited.
Mr. Bone in his life? Was he a Professor Bone?
Professor Bone?
He was undercover. He was Mr. Bone. He couldn't be Professor Bone.
Well, I don't know.
He didn't want his identity to be revealed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you said Katharine Hepburn plays against type. They say they made the movie based on her personality. Like she was naturally tomboyish.
I think naturally tomboyish. Yeah, it's more the lack of, because I know she's done that. It's like it makes sense she's playing a wealthy girl family, but wealthy character family that kind of aligns with like what her tropes would be or whatever. It's the part of being like such a fucking wild card and doing that. Right?
Wild card.
Like in Holiday, she plays much more. She's like the fun one of the two sisters in the wealthy family, but she's still much more grounded. You know, she's not going around just blowing shit up and, bringing a leopard places, prank calling Cary Grant, stealing his golf ball, stealing his car, etc.
Yeah. So I don't know. I see Bringing Up Baby as like the screwball comedy turned up to 11, where they just like don't give a shit about realism and they just like make it a full satire. The context of the time is Katharine Hepburn was considered box office poison. She's coming off like a bunch of bombs. They made the movie for her, and maybe she just saw it as like an acting challenge to like do something different and prove she could do comedy.
Wake up, Hollywood.
But yeah, people like that's maybe another reason why audiences didn't like it. Like they came in with expectations from her prior roles,
and they were wrong.
They were wrong. I picked out some reviews from the time, some contemporaneous reviews.
Wow.
So, Bringing Up Baby was another crazy comedy, so crazy as to be almost pathological. Katharine Hepburn threw her Shakespeare to the winds and led the riot in this. Baby was a leopard, not Hepburn. The Hepburn's own personal ideas about how to play a heroine who never stops pouring out inanities and chases a scientist to the altar via another chase after leopards through wood and jail may not appeal to everyone, but some of them are good ideas, and she obviously thinks things out for herself.
Okay, I just as a shits and gigs, I wanted to like Google Morrissey, because you made a comment about something.
Yeah, we gotta get his little face under every YouTube.
Do you want me to read a review he made of this movie?
Morrissey did one. Oh my god, is this AI?
I know. I sort of. He lists on like he's not a review, but there's like a portrait of artist type thing. He lists like the films he likes, and on there is Bringing Up Baby 1938 for films he likes. I'm trying to find if this is a quote, but here, in case you want to fact check me, you fucking retards, because you think I'd lie to you. But there you go. There he is.
The man who came to dinner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow, it is in there. It's on there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. This is one of his favorite films. That's what you're telling us.
At least in 1983.
And any others on the list? I don't think so.
I thought The Man Who Came to Dinner was
Hobson's Choice. I recognize, but I don't think that's on the list. That's like a very British film, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think I recognize a single one of those other films beyond that one.
Christmas in Connecticut's got to be a Katharine Hepburn movie, right?
Well, apparently there's always a thing in screwball comedies where like they hang out in New York and then they go to Connecticut for the crazy stuff.
So we got to go to Connecticut to shoot on location. I do love that when he's trying to explain to his fiance what's going on and he's on the phone, he just goes, "No, I told you I'm in Connecticut and I've been indefinitely detained." Refuses to give any details. The mere fact that I'm in Connecticut should be enough for you to understand why I'm not making our wedding on time.
That's weird. That whole thing was just.
Yeah, but it felt like there were no stakes to it, right? Because like he didn't seem that keen on his assistant Alice. She certainly wasn't keen on him. There was no like, will they?
Alice fucking sucks. Yeah, well, you kind of that's why you almost kind of take it for granted that him and Katharine Hepburn are going to get together.
Yeah.
At the end.
Well, it's also because he's kind of weird too. He forgets. He's like, she mentioned something about like, I guess, alluding to sex. He's like, oh yeah, we can do that too. The asexual aspect of him.
The assistant?
Oh, the fiance.
Yeah, there's some mention of it. Like,
Yeah. He pushes for it in the context of having a family, and she like doesn't want to do that.
Now, David, you need to think about your work.
Oh man.
Oh,
I just want to bump uglies.
Yeah. Okay. Last thing from contemporaneous media, I read a like women's article, and it was like from a female journalist, and she was like bitching about how she couldn't get men, so she took all her cues from female actresses.
That's a great idea.
And then she talks about Hepburn in Bringing Up Baby, and her conclusion is that like the character is disgusting, and that she's glad that the character acts like that because she would never be able to emulate that, or nor would she want to.
Okay, great. Very well read, I guess. Like,
so there's some kind of like
obviously
moral controversy to the character at the time.
Well, this is back when video games were actually causing people to shoot up schools, you know? So like film back then were teaching women how to act. No, it's kind of the same like idea. Really? Serious.
This was the original. What was Nintendo making in 1938 that was having kids shoot up schools?
They were making playing cards.
What was their little games they had?
They had playing cards.
They had like board games or something.
They had playing cards. Nintendo. 1938. What kind of stuff they make in 1938? They did not create video games back then, though. That's for sure.
The top comment on Reddit and the first thing that came up: does there exist any information about Nintendo's activities in World War II? I'm not going to read the blurb, the initial one, but this is a really great Reddit comment. Not exactly what you're looking for, but related. Dubious. At the end of World War II, Kyoto was considered as a target for the atomic bomb, which was also the home of Nintendo. It wasn't until July 24th, less than a month before the mission, that they switched the target to Nagasaki. Secretary of War Harry Stimson appealed directly to President Truman, arguing that Kyoto was too culturally important to be destroyed. If Stimson hadn't visited the city in the 1920s, we might not have a Nintendo now.
Good job, Reddit. You just really answered that question by just writing something fucking stupid.
Yeah, I should have taken the question seriously.
You know, but I'm starting to think maybe the atomic bomb was good because that's why we have Nintendo, right?
I mean, there was an old joke back in my day where they said the reason why we dropped 2 bombs on Japan is so we can get the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. So I like to go with that one.
Yeah, I've just always traditionally thought it was bad because it gave us anime.
Well, they always had anime. That's the thing. There was a tentacle porn. If you look at their old wood carvings.
Oh yeah, like the one in Bert's office.
Yeah, Bert's.
Mad Men?
Yeah.
Okay, do we like the film?
Yeah, I thought it's fucking great. It's funny.
It's alright.
It's really
funny. I don't know. I think it was too long.
There's a lot of good jokes and pratfalls. It's an hour and 40 minutes for reference. It's basically what you want a movie to be lengthwise.
What about widthwise though?
Widthwise, you know, you get a sense of the width. You know
I guess my issue with it is that I was playing Hoi 4 because the Graveyard of Empire of the Graveyard or Graveyard of Empires DLC came out. You know what? Yeah.
Well, so that has to do with.
They didn't pay attention to the
Did you
film.
bomb Nintendo?
No, I played a lot of attention to it. The fact I got through it in one sitting was pretty.
In the course of your
that's the thing. I thought this movie holds up well. Like modern audiences have shorter attention spans because the dialogue is so fast. Like I think that's
the dialogue was not my problem. With the dialogue was not with it. My problem was not with the dialogue. My problem was more with the one camera setup. I don't like one camera setups because it kind of.
You like a multi-camera sitcom, so you wanted this to be shot kind of more like The Big Bang Theory, is what you're saying.
Less so, but more like a normal film. I mean, that's probably the reason why they were able to shoot like so many movies in like a couple months' time because they only have one camera setups. But
this one was famously delayed and famously over budget.
Because it does well. I mean, she also
because they had to shoot a fucking leopard and then get them in front of the green screen.
Yeah.
With the leopard.
Do you guys think the leopard was real, or do you think that was green screened in? Or do you think it was an animatronic from Anime Land, Nintendo?
It was the
best part of the movie.
Why was there 2 leopards? Was it you think it was the same leopard, or was it like twice, or were there actually 2 leopards? Then why didn't the other leopard? Why didn't the leopard the second time around? Then why didn't they change the spots for
one? They should have given it makeup.
And number two, why didn't it like the song when they sang it the second time to the leopard? And it was like, oh, I'm not listening to this song this time. How do you train to like a song then not like a song? That's so weird.
Wasn't it because of the other leopard who doesn't know anything about the song?
Yeah, maybe they trained. They shot in reverse, so they got the leopard before they trained it for the song, and they shot that scenes first, and then they trained him to like the songs.
Or could it be that when they were
You
shooting
can't untrain a leopard.
the song wasn't actually on because they're just doing shots.
Maybe there was no song.
When they're singing, when he's on the roof, you're talking about, right?
Yeah, apparently in the novel it's supposed to be a panther, and like a baby is a term for a panther.
There's a novel?
There's a novel or a
Or
story.
short story which originally appeared in Collier's Weekly.
Yeah, it's like in a magazine.
Yeah, general interest. That's how people just used to read shit.
Yeah, like Dune was part of a magazine.
Fucking all the Jules Verne books were, for the most part, were published as serials and magazines. A lot of the Sherlock Holmes stuff.
I really
Short
like
stories
cereal.
and magazines.
My favorite book, Count of Monte Cristo, cereal.
Those things are delicious. I love Monte Cristos.
Monte
You eat
Cristo is good too.
cigars?
No,
It's
it's
the
a
sandwich
breakfast
with sugar on it.
Yeah.
You know the one.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be a panther, but they didn't have trained panthers. They only had the trained leopard.
They probably some Black Panthers.
Leopard meat pops off the screen, you know? A leopard's funny.
Yeah, because you can count spots.
You can count how did you count the spots of the leopard in this film?
I was thinking about it. I wanted to, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to because I'm going to have to count every leopard spots and see if it was the same leopard, and I didn't want to know that.
Well, that's how you could verify that. Well, if you don't want to know that, why'd you ask us?
Because I wanted to know if you guys knew. I don't want to know myself. I don't want to do the work. I want to make you guys do the lead work. Shit.
Did you plug your fingers into your ears after
When I was
you asked?
Yes. Did you not?
I thought the leopard did a great job.
Did it get
I thought the
credited?
leopard did an amazing job.
Did the leopard
Big
get
fan of the
credited, though?
leopard.
You should have gone Oscar.
Should have got an Oscar.
What a grouch.
Yeah. Overall, I like that. I've got a soft spot for these movies with their repertoire.
Yeah, 'cause it's gay.
Yeah. No, I also got a big laugh out of the jump cut to like the leopard going after the chickens, and they just cut to him in the car covered in feathers.
There's some good jump cuts. There's also the one where it's pretty obvious it's coming, but when he's going, he finds out Susan's outside chasing the wrong leopard. He goes, "Susan, she'll be so completely helpless without me," blah, 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 right? And then they just immediately cut outside to her having already captured the leopard, and she's dragging it behind her. And then, but then it works as well. Like they flip the joke again. When she finds out it's the wrong leopard, all her like calmness and confidence in that flips again. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good gags. Everything they do is fucking funny. A lot of good little lines.
Why wasn't
A
there
lot
any
of good
black people in this
stunts and
film?
goofs.
They only had Irish
I guess
people.
there weren't. Yeah, they made fun of the Irish, the real black people of America.
Aloysius.
Oh no, you're right. The animal, according to the cast, Nisa was the baby and the circus leopard.
Who?
Yeah.
It was the same. It was the same leopard. Fact checked. True. Same leopard.
Same leopard.
Yeah. I've read the criticism that the jail scene went on too long. I guess I'd agree with that.
It is funny. Rewatching it, I didn't realize how fast they get to each point in the movie, right? So,
Yeah.
If you think back over the plot of the movie, it's like, oh yeah, well then they go to the house, and they get to that house up in Connecticut by like 20 minutes in, if not faster, right? And same with like the jail. It's like, oh yeah, the jail. This is like the end of the movie, and there's still like probably 25 to go once they get to the jail.
Mm-hmm.
They cut in and out of it a little bit, but yeah, the way the narrative of the plot like doesn't always line up 1-to-1 with your expectations for how long the scenes will actually be to deliver that amount of plot, which is fine because it's not about delivering plot, it's about delivering gag jokes, and it's funny. What else? Okay, so I got the list. I watched a few other movies by Howard Hawks, contemporaneous roughly.
Mike Cock,
which is the director. We've talked very little of the director, mostly about the stars. And so the two films I watched by Howard Hawks directly prior to watching this last year, I did not rewatch these two, were To Have and Have Not and Only Angels Have Wings. Have either of you guys seen either of those?
Nope.
I'll tell you really quick. To Have and Have Not is basically they were like, what if we just did Casablanca again, but in Martinique? And I find it's pretty enjoyable. It's also, I believe, the first on-screen pairing of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. And she's got the fucking, how do whistles work line or whatever. The famous one, you just fucking put your lips together, in parentheses, on the penis and blow.
Wait, was that the sound the leopard made for mating or something?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. But so you see a bit how he's changed what he's doing, especially in light of the war. They're making a lot more. It's a very directly, they're fighting. I don't know if is it the Nazis or Vichy France. Either way, I don't remember exactly because again I watched this over a year ago. But that was interesting to see how he kind of shifted from these smaller, more connected features. That and then Howard Hawks would go on to do a lot of westerns and stuff as well, and to also do famously The Big Sleep. The adaptation of Raymond Chandler's Big Sleep, which also stars Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. And then the other film I watched by his is Only Angels Have Wings. Which was his film directly after this, which also stars Cary Grant, and which is very interesting. So it's not as funny a movie. There's some funny lines, but it's mostly about the most impressive part of the movie is that they are shooting real planes in 1939.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Real
So it's
planes.
Oh, he did Wings? Oh, Wings is a great movie.
Only Angels Have Wings.
Wings.
Wings, the
California
spinoff
song?
of Cheers.
California.
Cary Grant is good in this, but they kind of give him a weird thing. So it again has a romance at the end that you did not feel particularly invested in, and feels like right at the end it's like, oh yeah, the romance is the central part, and it's not even really the central relationship. You could argue in that movie, Cary Grant's relationship with both his boss and his co-pilot, or not like I don't know, one of the other experienced pilots on this mail delivery air company, who's played by Thomas Mitchell, who you might remember from Stagecoach. Him and Cary Grant's characters' relationships are more important. And then at the end, this girl who's kind of just been around the whole time ends up with him, and he's kind of a dick the whole movie. Like, she doesn't have a lot going on. She's very much like not as much of a character as Katharine Hepburn's character, and that she's mostly just there to be like, oh, I'm in love with Cary Grant, and do some other things as permitted. And Cary Grant is just kind of a dick. He's mean to her, but it's not always funny. Like, he's supposed to be like, I'm a hard ass. I got to get kind of the missions done. Like, this is the most important thing or whatever. But yeah, it also very similar to this movie.
How come Howard Hughes, when he's old, looks like Jordan Peterson?
Well, we're talking about Howard Hawks right now, but that's nice to know.
Well, Hughes financed.
You mentioned
movies, right?
Only Angels Have Wings with their live planes. I was trying to remember what movie Howard Hughes did that came out like 10 years earlier that used planes, and that's how I got to that kind of thing.
Nice.
I was like, is that the same?
Did you figure out which planes movie Howard Hughes did?
It's called Devils, Hell Devils or something.
Okay. Hell's Angels?
Hell's Angels.
1930? There we go. I found it for him. But yeah, so it and I think a big thing that makes a difference in overall lasting impression is that the romance feels like more of the point of Only Angels Have Wings because it's a more serious film. Whereas the flaws in the believability and the satisfaction of the resolution feel less pronounced in Bringing Up Baby, because in that film, it's mostly about making you laugh, and the romance is a bit of a sideshow.
I was gonna segue into speaking of films we want to watch.
Oh,
the next film is,
oh,
and then we can have the production meeting of how we pick the next film.
Okay, the production meeting of how we pick the next film. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
So this is live. Okay, so basically, depends on how often you guys want to do this. If we're gonna do it, I'm basically watching one of these a month.
Okay, Tuesdays is the provisional day. Ben Hare's the next film.
And until next time, Susan, you have to get out of this apartment. I can't. I have a lease. Goodbye.